Today I want to talk about something that seems important, and I believe that many people are overlooking, because every time Bitcoin corrects, they automatically start appearing. Well, the same comments as always, that if it is going to collapse, that another 2022 is coming, that you have to sell everything. And I think there's a huge lack here of historical context. First, let's understand why the year 2022 was, what it was, and why compared directly with today. It's an analysis error. Second, let's see what the chart is really doing right now and what the strong hands are doing. So stay until the end because I believe they're relevant things. In today's video, said all this, let's start with the video. Let's start with the historical context because I believe it is fundamental to understand what is happening today. And Bitcoin today is not the same. It is not the same Bitcoin as it was years ago, and it is a much larger asset. You already know, and the greater the capitalization, the more difficult it is to provoke such violent like the ones it had in the past. A drop of 60% on a capitalization, small, and a drop of 50% on a gigantic market capitalization, since there are not such different things in real terms. And the most important thing, right now the market is not showing signals of systemic collapse. I tell you, we are not seeing, well, whether a giant exchange goes bankrupt or not is not moving, nor stablecoins exploding. And one thing does not rule out the other. Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is volatility. And yes, there can be more corrections. But one thing is that, and another, it's like talking about massive collapses as if inevitable, because many times a market, due to technical analysis, it drops because something extraordinary happens. And for now, that scenario is not on the table. Now let's go to the chart, because the chart is also, well, telling an interesting story. And before entering specific levels, I want to make something clear. Most people, well, I believe that technical analysis is putting lines on the chart, but the real analysis begins when you understand, well, how the price reacts. Around those levels, I'm telling you, the rejection, the speed of the movement, and above all, the volume. Because, as I always say in all videos, the volume is probably one of the more undervalued tools, is by the majority of traders, because the price can be manipulated temporarily. News can be, since it can also be used in a certain way to generate that fear, or that euphoria. But the volume leaves traces, and when you know how to interpret them, you start to see things that were not there before. They went completely unnoticed. Right now, there are 4 levels that for me are fundamental. Starting from the bottom, we have the area of $69,000, and Bitcoin is the deepest support that I have marked right now. It is a historical zone. Psychologically and technically, it is very relevant. If the market were to test it, it would be moment of maximum attention, because that's where the market would make it very clear if there is demand, real, or if the structure deteriorates. But for now, well, we are not even close to that scenario. We are going up. I tell you, the zone of $74,000 in Bitcoin, another relevant support, it acts as the first cushion below the current price if the market needed to clean liquidity before moving up. This zone, and also the zone of $76 would be the natural candidates to test. In fact, just at this moment, we are testing that zone. That I comment on the $76,000 in Bitcoin. We have fallen a bit below, but I'm telling you, we're in the middle of testing and above, around the area of $79,000. Key resistance for now, before this area acted as support for a good while. Part of the cycle, but once it was lost, well, automatically became resistance. And this happens constantly in the market. What used to hold it, then the price becomes, well, at a barrier that needs to be overcome. Bitcoin is constantly attacking it, retrace, tries again, and that the market has a real interest in that area. Now, well, something that is catching my attention, also that the market has been apparently for days, lateral and seemingly boring. And you already know that precisely there is important movements are usually prepared. I also want to make something clear about breakouts, because false breakouts happen constantly. To make a break of $79,000 real, and not a trap, I need to see 3 things mainly. First, strong volume accompanying the second breakout, for the price to make a clean retest of the area. Broken in third place, well, with an orderly continuity, not an explosive candle, followed by an immediate drop. Because if that volume I mentioned doesn't appear, we must be careful. It can simply be a false breakout to catch buyers and return the price within range. The market does just the opposite of what most people wait with a frequency that surprises. And before closing, I want to leave a reflection that I believe important is as any technical analysis, and it's that the small investor buys the breakout, false and sell into panics just before. So the market makes the opposite movement, comes through motion since everyone is euphoric and is out of fear, everyone is scared and in the cryptocurrency market, and this repeats itself almost mechanically. People ignore Bitcoin when it is boring and lateral, but when it has already risen 120%, then everyone wants to get in. That's why many times the best positions are the most psychologically uncomfortable. Those that are built when no one is talking about the asset, when there is no FOMO, when the market seems practically dead, and precisely now, all the fear that exists on social networks, all the fear that exists with negative messages, with all the people waiting for a collapse that compares practically with the year 2022. It's worth it to make a colder and more honest reading of what the data is really saying. And I want you to remember one thing. Don't chase the price. Interprets who is behind the movement or leaves, that the market shows its cards before, to make aggressive decisions. Because in the end, trading is not about being right. It consists of to know how to manage probabilities better than most. And that is the difference that separates people that survives in the market of what ends, burning accounts. And that's it for today's video and analysis. Summarizing a bit everything I have said in the video technically today, the key levels are clear. We have a zone of $69,000 deep reference between the 74,000 and 76,000 zone, approximately dollars as active supports for below the current price, and the $79,000 like the resistance that needs to be overcome with real confirmation of volume for the movement to be valid. Said all this, can there be more volatility? Yes, there can be more corrections as well. But the scenario of massive collapse that many, they are selling on social networks, does not have, from my point of view, or for now, the fundamentals, just like what we had in the year 2022. So leave me in the comments. Bitcoin will break the $79,000 in the coming days, or do you think that's still? So is there a correction left? More before the strong movement. I read all of you in if you like the video, this type of analysis where we look since context, price action, volume, market psychology without magic indicators. As I always say, nor smoke predictions. Subscribe to Annual Style. Leave me a like. It is also much appreciated. See you in the next video. You already know. Cold Mind.